Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and any way you identify. Welcome to the first episode of Serfs Up, the
Welcome.
podcast. What?
I was just
No,
saying
continue.
welcome. Go on.
The podcast where we explore the notion that we might just be serfs, and we just may have realized that in recent years, etc., etc. But I'm joined here with my colleagues,
Hi.
and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Loop. You can call me Loop.
And I'm Zerg, and you can call me Zerg, I
How do you
suppose.
spell that, Zerg?
I don't know. No one knows.
ZURG?
It's a mystery even to me. Yep. No, yeah, it's ZURG.
Yeah, we got it on the screen.
It's like that dude from Buzz Lightyear or whatever. I
Yeah.
don't know, it's just a funny word. So I was like, yeah, that's me. That's me now.
Yeah.
That's a good
I
choice.
have assumed a new identity.
I'm gonna be back. I have to get the dogs to
I suppose I should introduce me too.
Yeah, who are you?
I'm Goon.
Hi, good.
Hi, Goon.
My name is Goon, and I'm an alcoholic.
I knew you were I was like, yeah, this is starting to sound like an AA meeting all of a sudden.
Yeah, I'm 1 hour sober.
I'm not even 5 seconds sober. I just took a sip.
17 minutes hammered.
Yeah. Gotta have some good old JMO.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I only had like 6 or 7 shots, so I you just hear me like fall in the background, slam onto the ground.
I could see it.
I'm good. I'm
Zach-
fine.
Zach, you're the least alcoholic on here. If you came to
supposed-
AA, I'd be like, get the fuck out.
I don't know who
You're supposed
Zach
to
is,
call me-
but
Yeah, you're supposed to call me Zerg, dude. Who's Zach? I don't know him.
I'm gonna forget that rule real soon.
well, you best get
I'm gonna
used to it,
expose your
boy.
Identities all
It's-
night long.
It's not like it really matters, anyways.
No.
Nothing
Unless
really
you're third.
matters to
And
me.
you have a secret identity.
Copyright strike.
Come on, strike. Right there. There it is.
Illegal. Can't use it. Can't
You just
use
hear in the background, FBI, open up!
it. Like, yes, they finally got him.
Those bastards.
About damn time. I've been calling on him every day of the week, and I keep ignoring my calls, but they finally got him.
Yeah, Zach's a fucking.
Wood.
I mean, Zerg.
What did we just say?
Logan, you just outed him.
Oh
You
yeah.
just outed him.
He outed you.
I don't know who Logan is. I'm Loop.
Oop.
Lupin?
But
Von
anyways,
Squish?
we started this podcast thinking we'd talk about, of all things, the Georgia Guidestones, which is something that nobody seems to know anything about. I had a patient today, not that I'm a doctor. I should have said I have a client today, or had a client today, who we started talking about issues that I could tell he was very woke. And by woke, I don't mean woke, I mean aware of what's coming in the future and what's happening to us now. And I asked him, I said, have you heard of about the Georgia Guidestones? And he's like, no. I mean, it seems that nobody knows about them. And even you, Zach, when we were talking last week, you were like, oh yeah, that conspiracy. I mean, it's not your fault. That's how people refer to it. But I've actually visited them, and I have pictures on my iPhone. And so even though it's been blown up, I know it's real.
Is this the
Yeah,
correct
well,
one that
that's
I
neat.
have up on screen here, Goon?
No, that looks different.
No? Okay, I was trying to.
Oh, that looks like it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's from
Well,
a
that-
different. Maybe it's from a different angle. Go.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I guess the side view looks like that.
Yeah, because I thought there was more of them where they're like in a circle or whatever.
No, well, people call it the Stonehenge of America,
Yeah,
and
like this. Is that
yeah,
what-
that's it.
that's it.
Yeah, and so in the 8 most common languages of the world, plus one of them's Hebrew, and Hebrew was on there simply because it relates to both the Christian and Jewish religions. It's not one of the most common languages, but the 8 languages, and plus on the capstone up there, there's all this hieroglyphics and shit
See if we
going
can-
around the edge.
Let's try to see if I can zoom into it a little bit here.
Unfortunately, my ancient Egyptian is a bit rusty.
Yeah, me too.
Don't worry, Zach. There's English. Since you've never learned another language in your goddamn life,
I know a bit of Spanish.
you know, Europeans learn like 5, 6 languages.
I don't see. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any English on this side of this photo here. But
Yeah, I see Spanish. I see, looks like Swahili. Maybe?
Well, Logan, in a
Kinda
bit
reads like
or
Swahili.
in another window, you could pull up Wikipedia and it would say all of the languages.
Yeah.
Actually,
I
have
have
it
it
up on my
open.
computer here.
let's pull it up here.
Destruction. It is weird how it was just like.
Bruh.
Well, I guess we'll talk about what's on it first.
Yeah, let's see. I'll pull them up on Wikipedia here.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah, it was-
find it. I'm scrolling through here, but
It was created by a guy named Robert Christian,
yep.
which is a pseudonym.
It's in
They kinda
Elbert
refer-
County, Georgia, United States.
I found the languages. It's English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew,
Swahili.
Wait,
Arabic.
Dad, did you know
traditional-
this? Or Goon? Sorry, fuck. Whatever. Goon, did you know this?
Idiots.
On the morning of July 6, 2022, the Guidestones were heavily damaged in a bombing and were dismantled later that day.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about. They were just detonated all of
Yep.
a sudden,
Well, that's
in the middle of
convenient.
the night.
And in
And
fact,
no
and-
one ever knew who did it, despite the fact that there's cameras like literally everywhere.
and the fact that Logan, it sounds like you didn't know that I mean, because I've talked to you about this before, I'm sure, is an amazing, I guess, example of how the media just fucking suppresses this shit.
Yeah, what the fuck? And then they put it on Wikipedia here, and we're supposed to take it by fact that it's just like, oh, it was just somehow fucking bombed. Like,
Well, even up at the top of Wikipedia, it says
Freaking
the
ISIS.
Georgia
got to it.
Guidestones. The Georgia Guidestones was a granite monument.
yeah, it was a
I
granite
think-
that stood in
I
Elbert
think
County.
Georgia Guidestones were a granite monument. I don't know. Anyways, but it's past tense, you know.
Yeah,
I didn't even know this happened until today.
it ultimately became.
And that's what I'm saying is, I mean,
Because they don't
nobody
want you to.
cared.
Okay, so let's look up
Nobody
exactly
cared.
what it says. Do you think it'll say it on here?
Yeah, keep going down.
Okay.
No further.
When it says to like,
Inscriptions. So the
There it is,
inscriptions
right there.
read, maintain
So-
humanity under
Oh,
five.
hold on, Logan.
Oh, yeah. Go
Hold on. Let me just say something. The fact that thing has been sitting there since 1982, and every patient I ask in my office has never heard of it, is incredible to me. With what you're about to read there, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, this is what the inscriptions read. Which I don't know if they had them on English, had them in English on there. But so starting out, it says maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. So
They do,
basically,
by the way, Logan. They have English on there too.
they had English on them.
Yes.
Guide
so fun.
reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity is number 2. Number 3, unite humanity with a living new language.
This is
Ooh,
all
what
religion,
that'll
but
be.
pay attention.
Yeah. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason.
Religion, slave,
Serf.
serf.
Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Number 5. That's what that was. Number 6. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. So one world government, basically.
Yeah. Basically, we all live under the reign of just one king, as Creed sings in their song.
Number 7. Avoid petty laws and useless officials.
well, we are not doing a good job of that.
Looks like Joe Biden's
Okay.
fucked, and if they put this in.
Yeah, but I compare this to the Ten Commandments. It's like so vague, and I mean, sure, don't take the name of your Lord God in vain. That's not vague. So fuck, God damn it, son of a bitch, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's the same fucking thing coming at you. Orthodoxy in spades.
Yep. And even so, number 8, balance personal rights with social duties. So basically saying like social duties are more important than your personal rights is essentially what that's saying. That's the way I take it.
Yep.
But they're trying to
Yeah.
be sneaky with it.
It's
Well,
religion.
and you have
Logan.
responsibilities come with rights too.
Number 9, look at the fucking irony of this. Prize truth. On the same article
Yeah.
where they're clearly not putting fucking truth about like what the hell actually happened to these stones.
Yep.
It's because they don't like.
Well,
at first, they're like,
well,
okay,
Logan,
we'll
It's
mock
the
you.
convenient truth.
this is
Truth
Orwellian newspeak.
Yeah. Well, because they're, you know what I mean? Like, they're putting this in your face, basically saying, haha, this is what we're going to do. And then eventually they're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't, like, have it right in
Precisely.
front of them anymore. They were trying.
And I've heard on certain paranormal channels that there's some divine whatever decree that what do they say on Star Trek? It's a I forget the term, but if you tell some race about something that's coming and they do nothing about it, that's consent.
Yeah.
Now,
Silence is consent, they like to say.
yeah, exactly. I can't tell you cite where that came from and all this, but who the fuck puts this shit in the middle of America, and how the fuck do we just ignore it?
You got me. I don't know.
Well, and it's funny too because some of these sound like all right, like be not a cancer on the earth, leave room for nature, avoid petty laws. Like, yeah, that sounds good
Recycle as
to me.
often as you can.
But then the first rule is like, oh, murder everyone except for 500,000.
No, 500 million.
This is why
No,
this
500,000.
channel is called Serfs Up.
It says 500 million right here.
The Serfs
Oh,
time
yeah.
is up.
I thought it always had said 500,000, but maybe not.
Maybe they changed it to say 500,000 for this to not scare people. Who fucking knows?
No, it's always been 500 million, but still, Zach, that is, I mean,
there's almost 8
Fraction
billion.
of what we got.
Yeah, right now,
So-
as of today, we have like what, almost 8 billion
yep, that's 7.5 billion. Billion.
with a B.
Yes.
So they're basically saying kill off, 7 billion people.
Yeah, the worst video I've seen about Bill Gates on TikTok is him saying alluding to something about 3 billion people needing to die, and the guy's still living because nobody's prosecuted him or taken him out.
Man, fuck Bill
I didn't
Gates.
mean to suggest that, but I mean, it's a 7.5 billion. You love your children, don't you? I love my children, and not that any of them are on this podcast with me, but that's your entire family plus. And even if you survive it, look at the shit you're gonna have to put up with.
Yeah, and that's just the beginning. You know what I mean? Whoops. I'm trying to make it a little bigger here. But yeah, that's just the beginning, is like maintain humanity under. So maintain, what does that mean? The 500 million in first person, they yeet that baby into the crocodile river? Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Basically.
That means that the third rail of politics, which amongst other things is population control, is going to be inflicted on us in perpetuity.
Yeah.
We can't even bring ourselves to talk about it, even though it would improve lives and everything else, but we can't even talk about it because we're serfs, and we are overpopulating with impunity because we think we're free and autonomous, but the reality is these fuckers are coming for you.
Yeah.
Have you read his book, Robert Christian?
Wow, I didn't even know he had a book.
Yeah. A man who identified himself as Robert Christian published a book titled Common Sense Renewed, 1986, which described the ideology of the Guidestones. You have to check that out. But
Good research, Zach. Sorry, I didn't go there.
one of the quotes from it says, "I am the originator of the Georgia Guidestones and the sole author of its inscriptions. I have had the insistence of a number of other American citizens in bringing the monument into being. We have no mysterious purposes or ulterior motives. We seek common sense pathways to a
That's
peaceful
newspeak.
world without bias or particular creeds or philosophies."
Oh, we're just here to help you.
Yeah. Well,
Ask someone to save you,
and it's all
and
just
they will
very
always slave
vague.
you.
It's very vague too. It's like, oh yeah, we're just putting this up, and that's the interesting part too. Is like this is a thing that did exist, and
That-
for what purpose? Like I wasn't there when it was made. I wasn't there when it was christened or unveiled. So I don't know the actual people that were there. For all I know, these are just words on a page. But the truth is, somebody put it there for some purpose, and whether it was a prank or someone that's ultimately trying to signal, like, oh yeah, we're gonna start doing this, and it is a thing that exists, and it's just amazing that so many people are, not even like it's regarded as something that's not actually truthful, so that actually existed.
And prank can't even be in the differential
Like you're,
diagnosis. I mean,
well,
I've
you're
been
looked
there,
at, yeah, and you're
and
looked
I've
at
seen this monument. It is massive, and he,
was
he right. Sorry, I used the wrong pronoun again. But this thing is massive, and you got to know all the languages, and someone had to. And there's a huge capstone with it, with everything, and it's like he overpaid, I think, for the land, and then at the end he just deeded it to Elbert County and gave them ownership. So he just walked away.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so many things on here that just are, it's like red flag all over the place, because it's like you said, it's just like, the way people interpret different religions. Like sometimes they take them to the extreme, sometimes maybe they're a little more reasonable with them, but there's inevitably, gonna be those people that
And that's,
take it
Logan, I'm
way too
sorry to
far.
interrupt, but that's why these new 10 commandments are so vague, because that way we humans, serfs, argue about it and fight about it amongst each other. And we're like, no way. There's no way they're gonna do that to 7.5 billion of us. My Jesus will save me. He'll come back in a rapture.
Well, they didn't
And it's
think
like,
they would keep, the global situation that happened back in 2020 going all the way, for years, keeping people locked up still to this day in some countries. Like, a
well,
certain country where their president looks like Pooh Bear. You know what I'm talking about?
yes. And but that's what got me even more interested in the Georgia Guidestones is, uh, I see this, supposed emergency coming, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I mean, I don't want to be saved because I know I'll be slaved.
Well, and
That's all I need to say about that.
again, too, like, what does that signal if it was just recently, destroyed back on July 6th, 2022? That wasn't that long ago. You know what I mean? That was,
Yeah, the Chinese have a saying, "May you live in interesting times," and unfucking fortunately, we are.
yeah. And as of recording today,
yeah.
that was less than a year ago that
Yeah,
happened. So, like, what
yeah.
happens? Is there anything that's going to happen on July 6th this year? Who knows? That's obviously just speculation, but it makes you wonder.
Well, that goes into the realm of, sort of numerology. You can look back at 9/11 and do all sorts of tricks for that, but who knows if that means anything. And then they opened up the time capsule, and supposedly there was nothing in it.
Yeah. Like, where
And
did
I
that
call
go?
bullshit on that. Or was it taken out before? Or
Yeah.
was it never there? Secrecy, my friends, is the gravy that we exist in. We slaves, serfs.
It's like synonymous. But I mean, even this part too, it says,
Well, you're
however,
more nervous about that than I am,
on,
because
no, I don't really care, to be honest.
only in a world where slaves could ever exist could we possibly be slaves. Meaning, there's no way, if we are free as a species, that somebody at some point in history couldn't have owned a slave. That's proof that we're in a slave world.
Well, yeah, I mean, in my opinion, like, uh, slavery never really ended. It just became modernized in the sense that, it's not like you're free to not pay your taxes. Well, you are if you want to go to prison, just
You
like,
talk to a middle manager in Iowa who's got a good life and a good pension and everything's going well. And you tell him he's a slave, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here! I'm busy. I got work to do." But you talk to a Chinese worker in whatever city in China who works at an apple factory, and
where they literally have like suicide nets on the side saying,
yeah,
like, basically instead of making the work conditions better, they're like, oh, we'll just put a net there so people can't jump off and
exactly.
unalive themselves.
Somebody's ringing my doorbell. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. It's weird how they got destroyed too.
That's like super suspicious too. Like,
Yeah, because there was an explosive device placed at 4 a.m. on June 6th, whatever day it was, and there's no suspect. Like, no one has ever been identified. They mentioned someone named Candace Taylor, who's a I don't know. I don't think she had anything to do with it. I think she was a Republican candidate for Georgia. I don't think she won, but part of her campaign involved like trying to demolish them and trying to get rid of them, calling them like Satanist and stuff. Like, she was quoted as saying, "God is God all by himself. He can do anything he wants to do. That includes striking down satanic guidestones."
yeah,
And
well,
she
even
tweeted
this.
that a few hours after the bombing.
Wow.
Yeah, because serfs argue about which god is on their side.
But it's weird
But they
that
should
no one,
recognize that all of them might be against them.
yeah, and there's no suspect to it. Like, no one ever discovered who did it.
In fact, Logan, scroll up. There's a video of it being blown up. I'm sorry, when I was there was a lot of video cameras everywhere, and my defiance was that I pissed on the wall, and I'm sure they have that on video.
Yeah, let's check out this video. Hang on. Look at this. This must be CCTV. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: if they have that, don't they have the person who planted it there?
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, they have a whole security camera set up, so how would they not know, like, who did it?
Jeffrey Epstein-ish.
Well, and even look at this too. Like, it's not like they explode, and it's not like they're completely destroyed. Look, they're still very much intact for the most part.
Well,
yeah, they don't fall over.
One of them got obliterated, but you've still got these two right here from the looks of it. Oh, you can't see my mouse on
fall.
there, but
yeah, and they just demolish the rest of them, I guess.
No, it doesn't show it fall.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if like the Eiffel Tower was like damaged, and they're like, just destroy the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's the same shit.
Famous,
or the Twin Towers hit
landmark,
and never has a
or like the Statue of Liberty. Like,
yeah.
Imagine a boat crashed into the Statue of Liberty, and it was like, partially damaged, and they're like, just destroy the whole thing.
Yeah, just like literally burn down the entire fucking.
Seems a bit excessive.
Are you saying it was an inside job?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm too stupid to understand.
I mean, I hate it that it's not there still, because maybe we could go like, hey, let's do a podcast about it, and people will go, wait a fucking minute, they're gonna kill us all? Let's do something.
Well, yeah, and it's not like they're denying in this article, and obviously, like, there's lots of people who have seen these stones, so it's not like you can't deny the existence of them. You just can't. They were there, and clearly you could see in that video they weren't entirely destroyed. It's like, just like Zerg just said, if they did that to the Statue of Liberty, it's not like they're gonna blow up the rest of the damn thing. If part of your house burns down, you don't say fuck it and light the other half.
Yeah.
So, like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but Logan, here's the point. Was it ever there? I mean, I have pictures on my iPhone still, but they could deny my pictures and go, he's a conspiracy theorist.
Well, it's interesting to read too here. The reaction says the monument was controversial even before it was unveiled. Some locals referred to its constitution as the devil's work. A local of
Construction.
or construction constitution. What the fuck? A local minister warned that occult groups would visit the site and that a sacrifice was imminent. A 2009 Wired article also noted that sandblaster Charlie Clamp spent hundreds of hours on the etching, during which time he was, quote, constantly distracted by strange music and disjointed voices. So, like, lots of people did graffiti on it. You can see here. I'll zoom in a little bit. Oh, fuck. I won't zoom in a little bit. It doesn't work very good. Well, but this says, you will not succeed. It says, Jesus will beat you, Satanists. And then, like...
See, these people think they're going to be saved by Jesus. Really? Seems to me you're going through the same shit we all are.
Yeah, no shit. What's the difference between this and the Ten Commandments? Tell me.
It's exactly the same thing.
There's a
That's
couple
how you
different
control
ones.
people. Religion.
Well, I'm just saying,
There's
I
no
mean...
honor thy father and mother in there, though.
Well, yes, you should do that. Not because I'm your father. In fact, I don't even know you, Zerg.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just mean you could see the parallels where there's 10 exact things on it.
Well,
I mean, I
in
doubt
this-
that's on accident.
Yeah,
this-
I mean, yeah. How is that? George Carlin has a bit about why weren't there less commandments, and he boils all the 10 commandments down to 2, and you could probably do that with this list too.
Yeah,
I
it's
can do better. I only got one. Don't hurt people. That's the only commandment I have.
yeah.
That sounds perfectly fine to me.
My commandment is shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Logan,
But hey, in this
that
beautiful,
seems
in this,
like authoritarian.
in
so
this
you might wanna
beautiful,
back off it.
No, it's
You
more
s-
it's
you
more
sound
like
the
it's
God
more
who
like shut
wrote
the fuck
10
up. Don't.
Commandments.
It's more like shut the fuck up. Quit trying to like tell me what to do, kind of thing. That's
well,
what I
in this
meant.
beautiful new world they're creating, there probably will be no mothers or fathers. It'll all just be surrogate births. So there's no
Well,
need
we
for
already
that
have a-
commandment, I guess.
It'll be like that. You ever seen or like heard of that show called like The Handmaid's Tale, where like they
Yeah, it's ass piss.
it is ass piss, but it maybe something similar to that, where it's like they just have like women working as, fucking slaves in order to keep the birth rate down, and you have to like, it's the same type of thing where you have to apply in order to get a child, but you can't have a child of your own because you don't match the genetic specifics that the child has to have or some shit.
But that's my overriding point here, is that we've got all these dystopic tomes, Orwell, Huxley. We've got all these dystopic series on Netflix and things like that. We've got the Georgia Guidestones. We've got all of our mythological books. The Bible tells of a time when the blood will run up to the horse's bridle in Armageddon, and it's like, oh fuck, that's not a very pretty picture of the future.
No, it is not.
But yet somehow we think it's okay. We go, oh, we're going to be saved, or oh, it's going to turn. I mean, Jesus said, don't worry, every tear will be wiped away. Well, that's a lot of fucking tears to wipe away,
Yeah, and what, like, oh, you wipe away a tear, then everything's just cool. And then it's just fine. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Every ass will be wiped away.
I'm always like, what the fuck good will it do for me then?
Every butthole will be shitless. No dingleberries down there, boys.
Whereas currently only Kim Jong-un's butthole is shitless because he never shits, according to the state propaganda.
Yeah, that's
North
crazy.
Korea.
That's for me, as someone that believes every news article written ever. That's crazy that he can do that.
Yeah, how do you just not poop? Like, that's astounding.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
he's clearly a god. Like, he's the one we should be worshiping.
Well, you should believe it. He's big enough to believe that he's never shat.
Yeah, even though he probably has like secret agents guarding like the outside of his bathroom like 24/7 to make sure nobody goes in there to find out if he shits. They just go in there. It's
Most of
just
the
a.
people in the royal palace know the ruse.
You know what I bet he does? I bet he does. Instead of like using a toilet, he just has urinals all over his stupid shit palace, and then he every time he takes a shower, he just shits on the floor and waffle stomps it down the drain so nobody can tell. He's like, no, I was just showering.
Yeah, maybe. It's kind of brilliant, actually.
I mean, if I was trying to hide the fact that I ever shat, that's where I would shit, dude. I would shit in the shower and shove it down the drain.
Yeah, but how many showers are you going to take every morning? I usually shit 3 or 4 times every morning.
Well, I guess I'll be real clean.
Is that more information than you wanted?
He must be really clean. He probably takes a lot of showers. I mean, yeah. I don't know.
So yeah, the Georgia Guidestones are telling you that you're gonna fucking die.
Yep, pretty much.
So no pressure then.
It's right here in
No.
front of you, ladies and gents.
I mean,
sorry, ladies and they.
Is that really? Hold on now. Is that really news? We all knew we were gonna die, right? Why are we surprised when we see something like that? And why do we care when some emergency comes along and tells you, "Oh, you better stay home. You might die." You know, fuck. I was born to die, bitch.
Yeah, quit being afraid of dying. Just get out there and like it. You know, it's like when you die, you die. Quit letting people control you over over like the very notion that you're gonna die. You're gonna fucking die anyway. So stop being a bitch and get out there and live life. Like, you know what I mean? Like
But
this is probably the only life you're gonna get. So maybe
True.
you shouldn't fuck around. You know, the more you
But
fuck around, the more you find out, kind of thing.
We also underestimate the fear associated with death. I mean, that's how you control people. You scare them, religion, and then you guilt them into doing exactly you want, or what you want them to do. And that's exactly how the whole emergency was run too. You're gonna die. Do what we say. And now we're here to save you.
If they got on the news suddenly and said that cars are suddenly exponentially more dangerous to drive in, you'd see like nobody out on the road because everybody just fucking believes everything they see on a screen. And it's the same thing with this. Like, for anybody listening, do your own research. Don't just take what we say for fact. And it's the same thing you should do with anything else.
Podcast we're doing. Oh yeah, Serfs Up.
What, you actually forgot?
Boys.
What's that?
Surf's Up there. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah.
We're gonna go catch some fucking swells, dude. It's gonna be
Surfing
awesome.
on the tide of blood created after the Earth's population is reduced to 500 million.
Exactly. That's gonna be a hell of an ocean.
Yeah, and
the whole sea's gonna be the Red Sea.
Yeah.
I don't like that image, Logan, but the fucking overlords do.
No, they just love the smell of their own farts. That's what they love.
Yeah, there's probably a bit of that.
I
do have a theory.
Very weird story, though, with all this.
Yeah. Well, just the fact that it... I mean, keep an eye this year on July 6th. 2 days after Independence Day. Coincidence? I don't know.
No, 1 day before. Yes. Yeah.
Some people say it was lightning that destroyed it, but I didn't see any lightning in that video.
There was no... I mean, we can look again. There's no fucking... This is not lightning. Like, look, you would be able to tell. It doesn't look like lightning. Well...
There's a flash.
Yeah, but every bomb is going to make a flash, you know what I mean?
That's the overlords.
It'd be kind of weird if it hit
their own monument.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be kind of weird if the lightning did hit that the monument, because there's like a tall pole in the background. So wouldn't you think it would? I mean, lightning always strikes the highest point, right?
Well, yeah, and they're rocks. Like a
but...
light post is made of metal, which obviously is more conductive to electricity, not a piece of stone.
God damn, you guys are serious investigators. I'm impressed.
Yeah,
because you're right. Those things could have happened, and maybe it was from the overlords. But the reality is that if somebody planted a bomb, they'd have fucking video of it. Put it out.
Well, no, because then you'd just see a bunch of people, a bunch of government agents walking in there setting the bombs. Of course, they don't want you to see that.
Bunch of glowy boys.
They don't want you to know their plan, man. They've already put this shit in place. Like,
what do you mean they don't want you to know? It's right here on the Georgia.
Well, it's like my theory. Seeing this is like they changed their mind. They're like, wait a second, why did we think this was a good idea? We don't want them to know. And then, or they put it up for a while just to say like how we're going to like laugh in the face of them, telling them exactly what our plan is. And then we're going to blow it up and still fuck with them and say, oh, some random person did it, just to laugh and watch them believe us.
I
Yeah,
I
it
don't
could be
know the
that.
motivation, but Jesus Christ, who has the balls to put that up? And why is it that humanity has entirely ignored it?
Because they don't.
I mean, this should be like
There's
on
just so much
everybody's
going
bucket
on.
list.
Well, yeah, and they don't. It's the last thing that they would probably put on international media and stuff like that, because they don't want like anybody to even think that this is what's actually going to happen.
Well, they're shills for the overlords. That's why media hasn't covered it.
Yeah. Who knows if this was.
They're owned by the overlords.
Everything is.
Yep.
You're not free. You're a serf. Don't forget.
That's why we have such inequality. I mean, the wealthy are the shills for the overlords. That's how control is meted out on this earth.
Yeah, hell, I mean, even the way that just America was founded, like just all the things that they talk about is just straight propaganda, especially because all they talk about is freedom, freedom, freedom. But I mean, you're not free. Try not paying your rent. See how free you feel then when you're out on the streets begging for scraps. Try not paying taxes.
Free to go to prison.
Yeah, try not paying taxes on a land and a house that you've fully paid off. You still owe property taxes, even if you do not interact. If you if you grew crops out there, had farmed your own animals, completely lived off the land there and never left, you still owe property taxes. Tell me that, how the fuck is that freedom?
How do you farm an animal though?
Well, like you just breed them. That's what I mean.
Oh,
I mean,
like grow them on a bush, like a sheep bush or something.
Well, that's what they're doing with that, Beyond Meat. They're just growing it in a lab, and that's got to be great to eat.
Well, yeah, that's
better than cockroaches.
Feed us.
Yeah, But you get what I'm saying? Like that's especially a thing where it's like, how the fuck is that freedom? I mean, and even that kind of thing makes me think of there was a video I watched the other day. Fuck, I can't remember the guy's name, but it was this guy who so he bought this land and like they wouldn't give him any permits to build anything on this land that was out in the middle of nowhere, and so he started building the house because they were like, you can't build on top of your land. So he's like, fuck you, and digs a hole and starts building a house in the hole. And then they pull up with a bunch of people to say that they're going to go in there and tear his stuff down on his land. And the main guy who he's talking to, like, he just fucking shoots him right then and there.
Oh yes. I know the story.
I can't remember the guy's name, but what
is his name? It was in the UK.
Guy with a big beard.
Real famous story. Yeah, he shot him on live TV and killed the reporter.
Yeah. Well, because basically, like he had
this story.
Yeah, so he was fighting with the city for a while. He's like, "This is my land. I literally bought it with fair and square."
Like Granby, Colorado.
Yeah, and so that's what happened. Basically, they showed up at his house, and he's like, "If you cross," he warned them. He's like, "If you cross into my property, it's not going to be good for you." And they're basically sitting there, and they just kept pushing it, and then the guy retaliated. And I honestly don't fucking blame him. If somebody owns the land that they bought fair and square, like, fuck, we need to go back to the old days where it's like you find a piece of land and you just claim it, and if anybody tries to take it from you, they're in danger. I'd rather do that than whatever this bullshit is where it's like
Albert Dryden is his name.
Albert Dryden, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you can find the full video. I don't think we're allowed to show it here on YouTube, because if we did, then it'd probably get taken down. But
oh yeah, definitely. He looks like Fidel Castro. Like,
let's look him up. Albert Dryden.
Yeah. Dryden.
Dryden. Yeah, we probably can't show the video, or if we did, I'd have to edit it. But yeah, this is the guy. This is the exact screenshot right as he. Because they were standing at his fence and they were about to go over his fence.
Yeah.
Who shoots who?
This guy is the homeowner, Albert Dryden. He owns the home. He was trying to build a house, and the city commission kept restricting him. You know, they have all these regulations and stipulations saying, "Oh no, you can't do that." And so he was in a legal battle with them for years trying to get this place built.
Yeah, and this is the house.
And eventually he just said fuck it and started building it. And they came and with an ordinance to tell him, we're going to condemn this building and tear it down. He's like, the hell you are! And they kept basically kind of trying his patience, and he lost his patience and shot the reporter in the face and killed him.
I think he
On
shot him.
live
I think he shot him in the chest. They said, but
Did he?
Pretty
Yeah.
sure
Okay.
that he's not going to have his house after that, right?
Well,
Well,
no,
no,
he's in
but-
prison.
He's dead now.
Exactly.
Oh, is he dead?
Yeah, he died not long ago, actually.
Yeah, he
When
didn't.
did
He,
he
I think
die?
he died in prison, right? Didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was
So-
the house he was building because they were like, I think it was something like they were saying he can't build it on his land, so he's like, okay, I'll build it in my land then, or something like that. I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but that's
He was actually released from prison in 2017 after he had a stroke, but then he died like less than a year later.
oh, okay.
Oh, he killed a council official,
Yeah,
not a reporter.
yeah. I mean, you could
Oh,
probably
was it the
find. Let me see if I can find a photo because the council official was like wearing a
So,
hard hat.
Not that I'm wanting the council official dead, but at least
Yeah, this was
he
the guy he
more
shot
guilty.
right here. This guy.
Huh.
Yeah, in 1991 is when that happened.
Yeah. Harry Collinson is the guy he shot.
Yeah, this guy right here. Because they were, I mean, you can find a video of it if you look, but we just can't show it here because, yeah, we'd probably get the video taken, get the podcast taken down. But
Yeah, it's
Crazy stuff.
Killdozer Jr.
yeah, literally, and that's what it kind of made me think of. Yeah, Killdozer. I love that story.
Yeah,
Personally, I think it's fucking
that's
awesome.
crazy.
Like that's like the ultimate revenge. He didn't just like, you know, I don't remember the name of the guy
What's
who
that
did Killdozer.
podcast you watch, Zach? Like
Which one?
the ones the rage quits or whatever. The guy who talks about the people who just go out in style. Ah, fuck, never mind. It's just you told me about
Oh,
it, and
yeah.
that's where I saw this whole Granby incident.
Really? You didn't remember that?
Yes, I
That was
remember
back
it
in
from
the 90s, I think.
Yeah, that's when you guys were young. Not that you're my sons, but yeah, I remember it, but I didn't. I guess I didn't zone in on it as much as I should have or could have.
Yeah, in Granby, Colorado.
I'm not familiar with that situation either. I don't think.
Well, Zach will tell you the story.
Yeah, this guy basically, his real name is Marvin Heemeyer, or Haymeyer, something like that. Basically, he had this business. He was a welder, and he was, trying to maintain a business, small business. I think it was just him. I don't think he even had any employees. So he had a little shop and everything. People would bring their vehicles into him for servicing. And one day, this bigger business moves in, buys the property like adjacent from his, and forget what this business even did, but basically over time they started encroaching more and more on his land, and it got to the point where he couldn't have an active sewage system to his shop because the sewer lines that he had ran underneath the property of this big business next door. And so he went to the courts numerous times trying to work something out and make it so he wasn't forced out of business and unable to, make a living for himself.
Yeah.
And basically the courts just sided with this other business at every possible turn, and he snapped. He decided, okay, well, I've tried it everything I can do. These people are literally just expecting me to kind of lay down and die. So he did something unique about it. You gotta give him that. And welded this giant iron sarcophagus onto a bulldozer. And
Yes.
thing had 9 inches of plate steel. Just, there's not a bullet in the world that'll get through that.
Oh, and he was inside the sarcophagus?
Yeah, and he designed it in a way to, because this guy was a fabricator, right? He was a welder. Like, this is the kind of stuff he did
Yeah,
for
so
work.
he specializes
so
in
he-
it. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he
so he's
fucking
work-
tore that shit up.
Yeah, he designed it in a way to where once the sarcophagus was dropped on the bulldozer, there was no getting it off, and there was no getting in or out for him or anyone else. So he started it up, dropped the sarcophagus down on it while he was in there, and just went out and completely obliterated this business that had
No
been
way.
causing him so many problems. And he also went to
Awesome.
the city. Yeah, he went to City Hall and was destroying that as well. Like,
Is there
just
any
smashing-
video caught of it? What
Oh yeah,
what
there's
was
tons
sure.
of video of this.
what was the incident called?
Just Killdozer.
Brand B.
Oh, that
That's
was
what people call him.
that was Killdozer. Okay.
Yeah, this is the story of Killdozer. But he never killed anyone. Didn't kill a single person.
Except himself.
Here, look,
Poor
Yeah.
guy.
I'll pull it up here. So this is
Yeah, because they had all these cops shooting at him, SWAT teams. They had the army in there. Like, they were thinking of like air striking him, in this tiny little Colorado town. Like, imagine the outrage. The army starts dropping
This
bombs,
guy's a badass.
but there was nothing they could do to stop this thing.
He knows how to fight back.
Yeah,
and yeah, obviously I don't think he got out of it alive.
No, he killed himself.
Yeah, because eventually
He brought a
Yeah.
pistol in with him.
well, and he went to, I forget if he was at someone's house. I think he was at one of the houses of like one of the council members, and started obliterating it as well. And one of the tracks actually slipped into the basement, and so it got the bulldozer got stuck.
And that's
so
when he
couldn't
called it.
go anywhere. Yeah, and they couldn't get in, but he couldn't also get out. Like, he's just surrounded by hundreds of cops, and they're like trying to debate a way on how to get in this. They like brought
Like
out
every cop
crime
arriving
centers.
far too late.
Yeah, but as they were trying to get into it, they heard a single gunshot, and when they eventually did get in, many hours later, they found him, and he'd already shot himself.
Damn. Yeah, because I mean that's pretty much like his last hurrah. But I mean, it's respectable too. The fact that he wasn't out to kill anybody. He was just out to he's like, all right, you destroy my fucking business, my building, essentially. You're gonna be sorry, basically.
Yeah.
I imagine
Yeah.
this guy was a bit of a belligerent asshole, and so I'm sure he helped to bring the whole thing on. But in some ways, I agree with what you said, Logan. That he just fucking
Just
the
done.
imagination of the guy is incredible.
I mean, to be honest, this is half the it's a similar.
They put the scraper to try and stop him.
He just shoves it out of the way. Look at that.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is what causes, when when you push people too far, that's how, mass shootings happen, all that shit, because it's just the way in society is just getting worse. That's why those things are up on the rise, because everything.
I'd say it this way: this guy fucking recognized he's a serf, and he
Mhm.
decided to do something about it, and I applaud him for that.
I honestly do too. Especially the fact, if you you recognize you're a serf, I'm not saying go out and cause violence, because
No,
we're
I
definitely not saying that. But
Yeah,
I
it doesn't
agree.
help. It just makes you the bad guy.
yeah, you're just seen as the bad guy. But don't just lay down and take it. You know what I mean? There's so many I don't know.
Logan, your religion tells you you're a sheep. Shouldn't you act like it?
No, the people should fucking wear. Okay, my philosophy is this could be as much as we know the only life we live. So just don't let people fucking push you around. You can't do anything big in the grand scheme of things. You're not gonna
no,
fix
Logan.
it.
No,
So-
Logan. Your religion tells you need to die to this life because you'll get a prize later on. Fuck that, No, you live in this life because you're right. You don't know if you have another life. We can hope for it, that's fine, but we have no idea.
Well,
Don't
yeah.
be controlled by that notion.
Well, and what I'm saying too is even with little things in life, your boss is being a fuckhead to you. tell him to suck your dick and go find a job where your boss doesn't be a fuckhead. It's not.
Yeah,
It's
but
not like
Logan,
life's.
that's where I wonder about this guy. Was this guy a total fucking prick and didn't allow anybody to get along with him? In that case, it's a bit on him. Even though we want to applaud him and all this stuff, it's a bit on him, possibly.
Yeah, it's hard to know for sure.
You can't just paint everything with a broad, what do we say, paintbrush?
Yeah. No, that's definitely. Yeah, I just mean like that's what I've found some satisfaction in my life, and that's where I feel the most free is just when like, like if you have a shitty. I've worked many shitty warehouse jobs, but I remember one like I became really good friends with my boss from this place to this day. Like he was my manager, and he and I both like, we were working a job where we meant to have like 10 people there doing it, and they just kept dwindling down, and we kept saying to management, hey, we need more people. Like we're busting ass over here, man. And there's just, there's 3 of us, and then suddenly there's 2, and you're going in there, and there's all this work you have to do, and you're like, I don't see my fucking paycheck going up a cent. So why am I not being paid for this type of shit? So instead of arguing with them, because they're not going to listen, it's a corporation, they don't give a fuck. So instead of that, we're like, fine.
Financially, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
at that point, we're just like, no, it's your problem now. It's your problem now. So we just fucking, he and I like literally we had the company shirts on. We took our shirts off, took our hats off, threw them in the trash on the way out, and flipped off the security camera, and we're fucking out of there because we had had enough.
Yeah.
And that was going on for months at that place. It wasn't like, it was that way one day and we just upped and fucked off. Like we were trying to work with them, and just like, I imagine this guy you're seeing right now bulldoze this fucking building. He potentially tried to work with these guys, and they're like you said, Zach, he went to the court and stuff like that, and they just kept siding with the other business. So he's just like, okay.
Your problem, Logan, comes from the idea that you are a serf, meaning that we get paid such a pittance, especially in minimum plus wage jobs, that and the company is making so much money that it's quite obvious that we're a serf species working for them. And so in some ways I understand your response, but in other ways I'm like, what the fuck? Let's fix the problem. Let's make it so that there is not such inequity between the rich and the poor. We enable everybody with a living wage and do shit like that.
Well, and the only way that can truly happen is if people come together collectively and agree. And the problem is that these days, with all the different politics, especially when it comes to like identity politics and like stuff like that, it's like they're trying to separate us all because they know if we all unified against them, and I'm not saying violently, I'm just saying we all stood, I'm saying like a strike.
Precisely.
Like a strike at work where you're like, nah, I'm not paying my fucking taxes. All of us, none of us, until this shit is fixed. If everybody did that at the same time, they don't have enough prisons. It's either they, and at that point it's the ball's in their court where it's like
Billy Carson, who's this great, I see as him as a freedom fighter, says, what if we all didn't participate? What if 30 million of us didn't go to work tomorrow? Buy gas, buy anything.
I thought the video on the screen where it says Bonnie Brown, friend of suspect, I thought it said Bonnie Brown, friend of suspect. Like, why would they describe her like that?
This is stupid. I wouldn't.
But anyways, that's besides the point.
Well, at least it's politically correct, so we're happy with that.
But you see what I'm saying, though? That like it's a classic case of divide and conquer. You know what I mean? So like
that's. I mean,
if we all they're terror. Like at the end of the day, I guarantee the most terrifying thought to anybody in like any leadership role is, I mean, even think about just like at a job. If all the employees turn against the boss and say like, nah, we're not fucking doing this way. Get out, or we're not working. Then what?
You know why they don't and won't and never will?
Because they're a serf.
Fear.
Well, fear too, yeah. Because fear well, that's the thing. If amazing things can happen if you face your fears.
Your answer was correct.
Amazing things can happen if you face your fears. Like if everybody collectively said, why don't we just try this? They're heavily outnumbered. I'll just say that. So like, If everybody at once just said, no, we're not paying you fucking taxes until they get regulated back to a point where they actually make sense. Like if what do you think these those like different tribes that they talk about that are like way indigenous that we're not even allowed to contact? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the uncontacted tribes.
Yeah, basically. Like, so there's, many tribes in the middle of, I think, what is one? I think there's some in Africa, some on different islands and stuff like that too. That
North Sentinel Island out by India is like the biggest example of that.
Yeah, so basically, imagine you're living a lifestyle like them, and somebody comes in and says, "Hey, you have to pay for this city we're building."
Yeah.
That's the same case. Like if I went out with my hard-earned money and was like, okay, I've been working 40 years. I just want to buy this property. I'm going to build my own house. It's not going to be connected to the city, so I'm not using their water, nothing like that. I'm going to use I'm going to shit into the ground, bury it. I'm going to grow my own crops. I'm going to, breed animals and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I do not interact with society at all. You still have to pay property taxes.
Logan, are you under some fantasy that you're free?
No, well, that's the point I'm trying to make is that how is that okay? Like, how is it even okay already? Like, you pay off your house. Even if you do interact with society, you're already paying, sales tax. You're already paying income tax. You're already paying all that shit. So what the fuck?
It's worse than that. You have to pay to be born and you have to pay to die.
Yeah.
Well, somebody around you does.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally like super expensive to fucking just to die. But hang on, you guys talk. I'll be back in just a second.
Oh,
yeah, it's quite the conundrum we're faced with. Which is certain.
And we all console ourselves with the notion that, every tear will be wiped away. Problem. I'm going to go to heaven.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Some of the time you wonder, too, if things are not just, like, if there are too many people to devise a system that could be beneficial to all. Like, I don't know, there's obviously all the talks constantly about, capitalism, socialism.
Well, I think those problems... Yeah. I think those problems are inflicted upon us by virtue of the fact that we're put here with nobody gives us it fulfills any of our needs or it guarantees us anything. And so we have to fight our entire lives to acquire those things. We have certain needs like food, water, shelter, all that stuff. We just don't think about it in those terms in the latter half of the 20th century, first half of the 21st. We think that, we just go to the store and get this shit, but that's not guaranteed to you at all.
Yeah. Well, especially if there's any sort of collapse on the horizon, then that really will not last.
But yet we run around our entire lives and go,
well, that's why most people will not pay attention to this kind of stuff is, so long as they can wake up in the morning, take a shower, go to McDonald's, and go to their job, then they're not really going to do much. As long as the basic necessities are met, nothing really substantive is going to change.
And that's why it's so easy to put a monument in Georgia that says, "You're going to die, motherfucker," and we all ignore it.
Yeah, because we're too comfortable. Ignorance is bliss. And then also, I mean, you could even fuck, I lost my train of thought. Never mind, go on.
No, continue.
Fuck, what was it?
I hate when that happens though, when you're like, and then I win.
Yeah, that's my brain just my brain just shit its pants, dude.
That only happens to me when I smoke pot, but I think we probably should wrap this up anyways, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember
how long we want to go.
I had an important point to make. Sorry, hang on. Fuck, I really want to remember this. Whatever, it must not have been that deep if I forgot it that fucking easy, I guess.
Well, we can keep talking until you think about it.
Yeah, what were you guys just talking about? You were talking about
just the general state of the world and how we're fucked.
Oh yeah, cryptocurrency. That's what I was gonna bring up.
Yeah.
I think cryptocurrency, like all NFTs, also all of that shit, anything that I can't tangibly hold in my hand is a fucking scam. I've never bought into the cryptocurrency thing because if right now, like, you know, let's say I had a bunch of crypto, right? I had like 100 Bitcoin right now, right? Internet goes down, power goes out. Like all it takes is a fucking solid EMP and we're in danger immediately. Like picture any of the times that your power goes out for even a day, you feel like life, the way you do everything is so different just from electricity. Like everything we have is like reliant on electricity, almost everything at least.
I
So
kind of
Oh, yeah.
feel like crypto is a tool of the overlords. I mean, Satoshi Nakamoto, what I mean, most people think it wasn't one man because nobody knows who it was, but that's a to monetize a digital imprint like that is incredible, and I don't know how any human could do that, let alone a single human.
Yeah.
right.
Well, and his Bitcoin wallet is still active and still untouched, and has been so for many, many years.
That's because it's owned by the overlords. God damn it!
How much
Well,
Bitcoin
so
does he have? Does anybody know?
billions.
Jesus.
I don't know how much it's worth now, but at one point it was worth like hundreds of billions.
Jeez.
And
How do
but
you
he hasn't
confiscate
touched
all
it,
the
so
wealth of
he's
humans?
probably dead.
Yeah, why
Or
wouldn't he touch that?
Or he wasn't a real person.
Yeah, but I mean, someone has that account, and maybe someone's locked out of it. And if that's the case, then that really sucks for whoever that person is.
Oh, dude, if I was
But,
locked out of that
like,
account, I don't
in
care. I would
Bitcoin-
find a way in.
Well, because Bitcoin wallets are public, so you can see how much. At least I'm pretty sure you can see the balance of who has what. Like you can't see the owner of the account, but you can see the accounts themselves, like they're public, and you can see how much is in any particular account.
Well, and that's too another thing that made me so skeptical about, like, still to this day, I've never really bought into that because, like, I feel like that is like one of the steps towards where they're trying to make it so, you know, they're already working the steps to go cashless. They're trying to phase out change.
CBDCs.
Yeah, and basically that just means that you will, if you're not tracked enough already, then they can really track everything you're doing. They know exactly where you are already, but now they'll know exactly what you're buying. Okay,
But-
he got gas
But
here.
Logan,
Yeah, but
don't worry. You're free and autonomous. You can do what you want and go where you want.
Yeah.
in the ideal system with Bitcoin, you can't really do that as well unless you can identify wallet IDs and match them to the person that owns them.
Well, but that's
But
what
there's
I'm
not-
saying is I'm like they could figure out how to do that. They would hire somebody that's smart enough to hack into every account if they really wanted to. They could, you know what I mean? So if like that, if Bitcoin became the norm, where like that's the currency that is globally known, and by the way, that's another step towards one world government. If there's one currency and it's all Bitcoin, you see where I'm going with this? Then
It's already a one world government.
yeah, well, you could especially tell that back in 2020 with the global
The
situation.
Who runs the world? Fuck. Unelected officials run our lives.
Yeah. Well, and it probably was some sort of government agency that made it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well,
'Cause,
Fauci
you know-
is tied to one, you know.
Right. Well, and the U.S. Navy are the ones that made Tor back in the day.
Yeah. Like
The
why?
onion router.
Yeah. What?
Right.
Okay.
And Tor is what you
You-
use to browse the deep web. Is that correct?
Yeah.
You live in you're a free individual, yet your government agencies are playing with viruses. Explain that to me, please.
That's just hubris. Just stupidity to the nth degree.
Yep.
Just catastrophe waiting to happen. Man, the devils are getting killed right now.
Are they really?
Yeah. 6
Oh,
to
shit.
1.
I'm in my office. I can't see it.
Yeah.
But I guess we should wrap this up.
Yeah. Well, this concludes the first episode of Serfs Up. Hope you found something informative or enjoyable about it. But until next
See?
time.
Logan, I told you should be the moderator, not me.
You want me to be
Thought he
the?
was Loop.
What's that? Oh yeah.
It's already-
Sorry, Luke.
We already blew the lid off the whole thing first episode. We tried.
Yeah.
We're still gonna
I
go by
love
the
you
nicknames though.
guys, and I'm not gay, and I'm not your parent or your father.
Okay. Well, hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time,
Good to hear it.
we'll see you.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.